Hello again, third grade. Let's go ahead and get started with lesson 1-5. Now, last time we talked about how many were in each group. Today, we're going to talk about how many equal groups. So we're using division to find out how many equal groups today instead of how many were in each equal group like we did in the previous lesson.
Lee made 12 tacos. He wants to give some of his friends 2 tacos each. If Lee does not get any of the tacos, how many of his friends will get tacos?
So here we need to stop and think. We know that he made 12 tacos and he wants to give 2 tacos to each person. So we have to figure out how do we know how many people he can give tacos to if they're each going to get 2. So this is kind of the opposite of what we did in the last lesson. We don't know how many groups, we know how many are in each group this time. So we know the total and we know how many are in each group. So over here, we know that our total is 12. We draw our bar diagram. And we know that our first group or each person is going to get 2 tacos. But this is the part that's a question for me. How many groups am I making? How much am I dividing it into? So if I know that my total is 12 and I know that each person is going to get 2, what I can do now is I can count up or I can skip count by 2s until I get to 12. So if I skip count by 2s, I know I'm going to have, let's use my counters for this one. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. So I want to see how many groups of 2 do I have, because what I did was I skip counted by 2s. So I kept counting by 2s until I got to 12, till I ran out. So here's 1 group of 2, 2 groups of 2, 3 groups of 2. So this is 1 friend, 2 friends, 3 friends, 4 friends, 5 friends, 6 friends. So what would happen here, now that I've broken it up, I've skip counted by 2s until I got to 12, I know that since there's 2 inside of each one of these groups, I can see how many groups I have. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do 12. I split it into groups of 2 equaled 6 people were able to get 2 tacos each. Let's keep going with our lesson.
How can you divide using repeated subtraction? Think about this question during the lesson. June has 10 strawberries to serve to her guests. If each guest eats 2 strawberries, how many guests can June serve? Look at the bar diagram that shows the division. What part shows the total number of strawberries? The line above the bar shows the total. There are a total of 10 strawberries. Why is there a 2 in the box? It shows that each guest will get 2 strawberries. What does the arrow stand for? The arrow stands for the number of guests who will get 2 strawberries. How can you use subtraction to solve this problem? You can use repeated subtraction to find how many groups of 2 are in 10. How do you know when to stop subtracting? You stop when you get to 0. Then you know that there are no more groups of 2 to subtract. You can subtract 2 5 times. There are 5 groups of 2 in 10. There are no strawberries left. June can serve 5 guests. How can division be used to solve this problem?
You can write a division equation to find the number of groups.
Ten divided by 2 equals what number? What do the parts in the division equation stand for? 10 is the total number of strawberries. 2 is the number of strawberries each guest gets. The question mark is the number of guests who get the strawberries. 10 divided by 2 equals 5. June can serve 5 guests. Now you know how to divide using repeated subtraction.
June has 10 strawberries to serve to her guests. What if each guest ate 5 strawberries? Use math you know to represent the problem and find how many guests June could serve.
Okay, so we're going to use the strategies we just learned from the previous part of our lesson. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to draw my bar. We know there's 10 strawberries and each guest is going to get 5 strawberries. Now, I don't know how many guests I'm going to be able to serve yet, or June is going to be able to serve yet, because I don't know how many groups I have. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the strategy of repeated subtraction. So I know I have 10. So 10 take away 5 equals 5. And then 5 take away 5 equals 0. Now, how many times was I able to subtract here? So far, I've only been able to subtract 2 times. So what does that mean? That means 10, I'm going to do 10 divided by 5 equals 2. I was only able to do it 2 times. So 10 divided by 5 equals 2. So I know over here, I'm going to have 2 groups of 5. Let me draw out my whole bar and just split it down the middle. So 2 groups of 5. So 10 divided by 5 equals 2. Or we could do 10 minus 5 is 5, and then 5 minus 5 is 0. Now we're going to jump into our guided practice in just a second, but I wanted to go over some of our notes from this lesson. So remember, as always, put your title of your lesson at the very beginning. So lesson number, lesson title at the very top of your page. Now a note to remember, division can be used to find out how many are in each group or how many equal groups. You can use division to find out either one of those numbers. So if we take that same problem that we were working on, June has 10 strawberries to serve her guests. If each guest eats 2 strawberries, how many guests can June serve? So I drew it out first. That was the first thing I did. Here's my 10 total strawberries. Here's my 2 for each guest, and I want to find out how many guests. So I want to figure out, how can I solve this question to find that missing number? So the strategy we talked about in the lesson is repeated subtraction. So we're starting out with 10 because 10 is our whole number. And we're subtracting 2 at a time because 2 was the number of strawberries each one of our guests was going to get. So 10 take away 2 gave me 8. 8 take away 2 gave me 6. 6 take away 2 gave me 4. 4 take away 2 gave me 2. And 2 take away 2 gave me 0. So I was able to do that repeated subtraction 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. So 10 divided by 2 equals 5. Now, the reason this works is you're basically doing the same thing you did before. You're passing out what you have in the number that you have in the groups that you have until you run out, until you get to 0. So we took away a group of 2, we took away another group of 2, another group of 2, another group of 2, another group of 2, until we got to nothing left. So here's our total number of strawberries. 2 was how many strawberries each person got. And our mystery number in the beginning was how many guests were going to be able to eat strawberries. And we found out that our mystery number here is 5. So let's go ahead and take a look at our guided practice questions together. Now, for number 1, it says there are 3 boxes with 2 toys in each box. The total number of toys can be expressed as 3 times 2 equals 6. What is meant by 6 divided by 3 equals 2? What is meant by 6 divided by 2 equals 3? Okay, so let's take this apart. Let's go through this one step at a time because this has a lot of parts to it. So we know 3 boxes, right, with 2 toys in each can be written as 3 times 2 equals 6. We know that from our multiplication lessons. 3 groups with 2 in each group, 3 times 2 gave us 6. Now, what is meant by 6 divided by 3 equals 2? So 6 divided by 3 equals 2 means six toys shared in 3 equal groups has 2 toys in each group. Okay, so 6 toys, 6 divided into 3 equal groups has 2 toys in each group. Now, if we're doing it the other way, 6 divided by 2 equals 3. Notice how we're using the same numbers, but our smaller numbers here have swapped places. So this means 6 toys divided into 2 groups has 3 in each group. So all we did was we kind of swapped those numbers out. Now for number 2, it says use counters or draw a picture. The lost and found box has 16 gloves. There are 2 gloves in each pair. How many pairs are there? Okay. So there's 16 gloves, and we're basically dividing it into a group of 2. So 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. So let's use the repeated subtraction here. 16 minus 2 equals 14. 14 minus 2 equals 12. 12 minus 2 equals 10. 10 minus 2 equals 8. 8 minus 2 equals 6. 6 minus 2 equals 4. 4 minus 2 equals 2. 2 minus 2 equals 0. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 16 divided by 2 equals 8. Ruth gives her dogs 15 treats. Each dog gets 3 treats. How many dogs does Ruth have? So over here, we can do the same thing. 15 minus 3 equals 12. 12 minus 3 equals 9. 9 minus 3 equals 6. 6 minus 3 equals 3. 3 minus 3 equals 0. So over here, we know that 15 divided by 3 equals 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We were able to do that repeated subtraction 5 times. So 15 divided by 3 is 5. Now for your independent practice at the bottom, you're going to be filling in the answers to those questions. So you'll have some set up for you like this with repeated subtraction. Rosa has 14 apples. She places 7 apples in each bag. How many does Rosa have? So you'll do 14 minus 7 equals a number. That number minus 7 equals what? And then you'll be able to write your division problem at the bottom. Remember, the number that goes, your first number is always going to be your biggest number. It's going to be your total. Same applies for the other ones. Now you're going to be completing lesson 1-5. You're going to complete 1 all the way to 13. That's going to be your independent practice and your homework. If you have any questions, let me know. Otherwise, I hope you have an amazing day. Take care. Bye-bye.